Our next guest has spent his career putting others' needs first. As a member of our armed forces, Kevin White has seen the need for different, what we consider necessities, in third world countries.
That's right. One of those necessities is prescription eyeglasses for people of all ages. So he did something about it and launched the nonprofit Global Vision 2020.
The result, 36,000 people in 28 countries are now able to see clearly, and he's just getting started. We'd like to introduce you this afternoon to Kevin White of Easton. He is the founder and executive director of Global Vision 2020. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
So, explain to us the need that you're seeing.
Well, in 2005, I was the director of humanitarian assistance programs for the Department of Defense, and I helped plan military operations that included humanitarian outreach. And one of the first ones I went on was in Morocco, and it was a military hospital. And one of the things they set up was distributing eyeglasses. And as a lifelong wearer of eyeglasses, I said, "Oh, that's really interesting. I should go check that out." And as a professional logistician, I was pretty offended at how inefficient it was.
Oh.
I mean, most people did not get 20/20 in both eyes,
right.
and a lot of people picked the frame that they liked as opposed to the prescription that they needed. So they put form over function. And I said, there has got to be a better way. You know, this is America. We're like the most innovative country in the world, and we can come up with something better. So from 2005 until now, it's basically been my almost 14-year journey of learning about the problem and trying to come up with a better way.
So this is what helped you launch, this is what made you launch Global Vision 2020?
Exactly, yeah. So when I retired from the Corps in 2009, I started the charity and was working with some different technologies and realized that there was still a big gap in how we could deliver eyeglasses, functional, nice-looking eyeglasses. And that's what I put my heart on.
So what is it? What is Global Vision 2020?
Yeah, so Global Vision 2020 is, we're a not-for-profit organization that has built a system that's been tested and approved, and we can provide it to organizations that are already in the developing world doing things. We can basically bolt on eyeglasses. So Global Vision basically enables all of these other groups to take these kits with them, test, does a person need eyeglasses, what's their prescription, and then make them a pair of eyeglasses, all in about 10 to 15 minutes.
So what did you bring with you today?
So today, this is the heart of the system. This is how easy it is. No electricity, no connectivity required. This lens bar basically moves to most of the powers that people need. So looking through this little slot here, people will cover one eye, and they're looking at an eye chart, and just like a pair of binoculars, it's really intuitive.
Yeah.
As the patient dials through, it moves that focal point, the visual acuity of it, and when it gets clear, they stop. So for instance, if they stop on a green 1, where it's green and 1, the lens at that line is exactly the same as the lens that's in this kit right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then you would just they would have them pick a color that they liked, whether they wanted blue, brown, or black. And then these lenses pop right out, and you pick the lens right up, line it in, and it just snaps together.
That's incredible.
And you can make a pair of eyeglasses on the spot for somebody.
That's brilliant.
Right.
Oh my goodness!
Love it. And it's such a simple little device.
Exactly, simple is easier. So I didn't want, so the measurement is diopters, 1.25. So I said, let's take decimals out. Let's just make it color coded. Red 1 through 4, green 1 through 4, etc. Really simplify the process. So it takes about 3 hours to learn how to use the system and 10 minutes to deliver a pair of eyeglasses.
So what kind of changes in people's lives have you seen?
Yeah, those I call them my hero stories. I mean, I've seen a second grade boy. He'd been in the second grade for 3 years. So I said, as the teacher, I said, well, what's wrong with him? She goes, he's just a bad kid. And I said, well, can he see? And she's like, well, I don't know. So we tested his vision, and sure enough, he was 2150, 2200. So he just couldn't see the chalkboard. So we gave him the eyeglasses, and it was just like night and day. And so there's a hill in the village, in the middle of this village, with 2 trees on the top. And they define themselves by these 2 trees. Like, oh, we're the village with the 2 trees. So he puts the glasses on, and I say, what do you see? And he looks up, and he's like, I see the 2 trees. I see he'd never seen the 2 trees before. So he just, that definition of his village was kind of...
Kevin White of Easton, thank you so much for what you're doing and bringing the story to us. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
That's fantastic.